And I'm going to end with a selection from a larger piece called First Line Scratched Out. Eyes become yes even when it seems they will lose it. With the wedge-shaped brush, I push Phil's bleed-proof white over, and it seems to slide down the side of the letter, as if page were ocean, and letter and island, and my ink the melting, the rising, and weather. They appear to dart above, and just enough of the letter will linger there, as if it could still draw a breath. And there's a disturbing, psychedelic quality as I pull my hands back from the fading classic, Whack-A-Rat. Erasing the hell cantos, erasing the betrayers of language, erasing the swillful, erasing my guide, erasing the Sizian, erasing the tumor, erasing the mirror. I see William Burroughs riddle a portrait of Shakespeare with bullets on a video blog, and then Ron Silliman says, "Reduction of species simplifies Earth." The resurrected materials discarded. A bottle of urine for Goethe. Nader research. Know what? And I have no carbons. As the erasure warms and hardens, the message becomes opaque. After finishing reading the book without the message, only in turning to the next page and learning to read backwards can one read the cantos. The name shaved from an event the way a letter is shaved from a word. Ants can barely see 'em. Nothing I build and I reap. No wall. Erasing natal aroma. Erasing the first book. Not so much experimental writing as an experimental reading. What I couldn't write, I scratched out. I worry about all this I'm stealing and sealing up in the white, but I'm writing this down that I might forget about it immediately, and this is the way that writing aspires to erasure. Hear Carol erase King. The white paint of erasure preserves the context for poetry, if not the poem on the page, or both, but in that order, the order in which they will disappear without me. Hear the fragments ring round the absence. Failpo. Doom, aesthetics of duration and sustain. What further treasures might be lost beyond recall? The etymology of this white paste. Etymology, a sort of paste containing while concealing. You don't belong to this century. Do you hear me? There's no proof that you exist. There's nothing. Is there any way to mend what's been destroyed? It's going to vary a smaller amount. Remember Landon's TV locked away in the gallery, blasting the dawn. Commentary is paste. Art thickened. Design went to hell. Copyright by F.T. Marinetti, used with permission of F.T. Marinetti, distributed by Penn Sound. The funny thing about the Satan maximizer is it has the most powerful effect at the weakest values. I should add a start over from silence button. It adds a certain fuck you-ness. Of course it has to shut up to hear anything else. What speaks and stretches through? The coat of paint is just a fleshy anecdote. The newly painted panels tremble. We're making the white space equal where we are, I'm paraphrasing. The natural resonant frequencies of the room articulated by speech. Absence harp with froth. Beveling S, crippled inks, flavor of milk impostors. The letters rub off, a thin air of spells and their stale mates. And a voice creeps out of a cloak. Such prophets, the white can of paint. The world's not ending, the sky is not falling. In graffiti, the serif before it was ornament. What I see best, I see ill. I think experiment becomes calcified. In a word, shall I be able to speak of me and of this place without putting an end to us? Shall I ever be able to go silent? Is there any connection between the two questions, or the darkness of the fragrance showing through? How the latter can fall into that it is laid against, and this is that kind of blur. Clear to me at last that the dark I've always struggled to keep under is in reality my most. I can't excerpt from this one, epigraph to epitaph, what would I remove? Having nothing to say, no words but the words of others, I have to speak, to highlight all but that. Push nil sentences. Build it up, burn it down. That's William James' writing occurs in that space as a shape in front of the text that speaks instead of it, without knowing what it imports. You wouldn't believe how close I came to throwing the quinoa out. Writing requires a ritual, Mary Rose says, but I have removed the writing from that, as if on either side of that question there was silence. Language is theft, the unwordable event, a void full of light spilling over. Waiting around for the white to dry clear, that's how the poet gets a heart attack. Double or nothing. When the lights turn off and I'm reading this, I want you to interrupt with questions, rude remarks, anything else. Not what you don't want to say. Define Ghost as an India rubber eraser designed to erase its own past. I have not words for very initial. A ghost seems to step in and read the numbers. Quite plainly, we are dealing with materials beyond their original form. Liminal, beneath the earth, or before speech. Protracted hustling of silence. To stop at nothing. Here's the rub. I never done good things. I never done bad things. I never done anything out of the blue. Her face seems to become another silence. Infinite finalities. It is nothing to be looked at. It is to be read. Pure measurement, nothing spoken, nothing interred. Let the wind speak. The sky is no help. The last sun in the last oily waters by the dock. I want the morning to erase this night. All words turn to their original partners. The ghost's presence beckons. Where will you lead me? Mind come to plenum when nothing else will go into it. Oh no. We must even give up the word too, to keep for poetry its last and holiest refuge. A clean plate speaks for itself. What whiteness can one add to that whiteness? What candor? Drop your reds, drop your greens and blues. Thought bubbles and speech balloons. For men use, if they have an evil turn, to write it in marble. And whoso doth us a good turn, we write it in dust. Circum-erasure. It is between how to spell a silence stop and enraging the shield. It is the void, or the initial zero, which in its mimesis and simulation of form projects a one from which the entire series of numbers and things will begin. And if I see her not, no sight is worth the beauty of any thought. This has something to do with transcendence and something to do with Joe Preston. Based on a series of neat errors, all of Jennifer's autobiography and absence she carries without it about her. Thank you.